Well, when you lose a spouse or a partner, it will change everything about your world. But one of the few things that can help eventually, a little, is being with others that have gone through the same thing. A unique camp here in Tampa this weekend hopes to help others. Author Caryn Sullivan is here with more on her book and something called Camp Widow, which is a cool opportunity for people that have experienced loss to kind of get together, everybody in one weekend, and kind of share stories and support each other and things like that as well.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about your experience because you were one of the speakers this weekend at Camp Widow. Tell me a little bit, a quick backstory on your experience because you're a part of the Widows Club, unfortunately.
Right. December 15th, 2009, visiting family in Maryland. I'm from Minnesota. Got the call that you never want to get.
Right.
My husband died in the emergency room of a heart attack surrounded by strangers.
Wow. And then later on, you've gone through life, you had struggled with breast cancer as well?
That preceded it.
That was before that. You've gone through breast cancer, you've lost a husband, you have a child with autism.
Who was the donor for his sister who had a bone marrow transplant a year after I had my breast cancer treatment.
Caryn, you have been through so much. You've got a book out, Bitter or Better, which I love the title of as well. When you have experienced that so much in your life, where do you find the courage to sort of get back up every morning and be like, okay, we're still here, we've got this going. How do you find the thing to be positive?
Well, I have to say, being a mother, I quickly decided that I was going to be better. I was going to be strong for my kids.
Right.
Because it was clear that they were watching, they were paying attention. My stepson gave the eulogy at his dad's funeral. He had just turned 25, and the things that he said were such a wow for me that I realized he's been paying attention. You think your kids aren't, when they're growing up.
Or they're going through their own thing, so they're not looking toward you as well.
Yeah. So it's my kids who really keep me going. And now that I've been doing this work and sharing inspirational stories, I realize everybody has a story.
Yes.
I happen to be a widow. I lost the man I thought I'd share the rest of my life with. My kids lost a fabulous dad. But everybody has something. And the concepts are all sort of the same in terms of how you navigate the heartache.
When it comes from someone looking from the outside in, we were talking a little bit off camera, I have a friend, her husband was killed in a snowmobile accident last year, and she's a good friend of everybody's, and we've sort of watched her over this last year, been around her. No one really knows what to say or do, so what do you say to people? How do you support someone like yourself that has gone through this loss, especially after time has gone by?
Well, I think of grief as a wave.
Yeah.
It comes and it goes, and sometimes it nips at your ankles, and other times it just knocks you on your butt. So what is helpful is to have that support network there, and that's what I think Camp Widow will offer to people. So. But if you're not part of that, 6 months later, a year later, a text, thinking about you, how are you doing? Let's go to coffee. I think
just letting them know that you're there.
You're there. And one of the things that's tough is that you get isolated because it can be a couples world, and you may have been, in a group of couples, and all of a sudden those Saturday night dinner invitations don't come anymore.
Very, very, very much so. All right, Caryn, some very good stuff. Thanks for spending a little time with us today as well. And you guys can find more about Camp Widow online, campwidow.org. It is not too late to register for this as well. It's this weekend.